it. Plastic Cypress, as actually we'll check them out in a second in the second game, because right now we got the game starting and we actually have a crossplay coming in from Red Team's Warrior and Plastic Fantastic as we see him now, Brujo, moving himself over here to the quarry point. He's probably going to get there in order to contest, and will be taking on Polyphy for control of that far point very early in the game here.
So yeah, seeing that Warrior Guardian matchup, he's able to completely lock him out right there. Gets
and
that
take him down
to 0 in one combination. Threw down the Elixir, is actually able to get back up. I thought he was going to be able to DPS him down, threw it, but now he's got a little bit of time to try and retaliate through Bruto.
And as we jump back over here to the keep fight now, as that has already begun as well, no progress has really been made, although we do have guys getting pretty low here. Guts is forced off the point here a little bit as Plastic Fantastic is doing a pretty nice job at focusing people down as they all jump onto this, going on to this right here. Guts actually going to go down now, and he will be taken down. Plastic Exorcist will be coming in to knock him out, and Guts will actually, I think, be the first kill of this game in favor of Plastic Fantastic.
Yeah, Epling going down, actually able to get all the heals completely up. We do have the Nature Spirit coming out from Conrad Quest right there. That's going to provide a ton of healing, and if anyone gets down, he'll probably be able to get the res off with the Spirit skill. Over at Henge as well, Brujo actually is down. So Brujo comes in, gets the CC 100 Blaze, able to take Polyphy down almost nothing. Polyphy was able to get the Elixir though. Comes back up from the Elixir, and with all the cooldowns done from Brujo, he's actually able to take him down. Brujo actually vengeances off point, but now he's down, so really, really good play from Polyphy right there.
Back over here at middle, we did just have Conrad Quest go down, giving Blue Team an advantage, but Guts in the meanwhile went for a decap over there at the mine, actually going for the full cap, just wanted to get the decap, and he's now going to probably be jumping back into the keep fight to assist his team with that. We have two members of the blue team still here, but it is looking like Plastic Fantastic has a slight advantage in this middle fight, but I honestly don't think it's going to be ending anytime soon. It looks like this could be a pretty long mid fight that might extend a pretty long time during the match.
Yeah, Plastic definitely has that numbers advantage right now. They got Polyphy down as well. Didn't have the Elixir R up in time, so should be able to get down. Just spamming DPS in the body, trying to make sure he's not able to get rezzed right there. Conrad Quest, Dipset uses was able to get mine right there, so they finally have that point income where blue team still not holding any points, as Brujo was able to get the decap at Henge while all this was going down.
And checking out that over there, we do have Brujo once again absolutely decimating his opponent over here at the Henge, currently taking on the deadly Adira. Alright, so he is going to be under some trouble here because of blinds and whatnot, but if he pops it, because he pops immunity, and actually just throwing out blinds, so he's going to be able to deal damage. Obviously it's going to be greatly reduced because of the plague form, and for the time being, he did actually do a pretty nice job in that, and we could actually see him win this 1v1 as he's now coming out of plague form right now.
Yeah, against the Necromancer, he's gonna have a really good time. One thing to notice is all his skills are on cooldown. Besides Signature Rage, Pop Signature Rage gets the full conduit clear from Lissa. He's able to get the shield bash into just the autos from the mace and completely DPS him down. He should be able to get the stomp no problem, as he already did get feared.
With that, he's actually going to be forcing the engineer from the blue team off the mid fight as well to come back and keep that in contention. Back at middle, though, it does appear that NN has flipped that mid fight around and has finally taken that for their advantages. So while they will have that, back here at the Henge, we do have Bruno on that. And as well, we're going to have Plastic Cypress moving in to assist this as well. It seems that Red Team, now losing that middle fight, are going to switch to a bit of a side point focus for the time being. And it's working out pretty well because Bruno is just absolutely wrecking house over here.
Yeah, he actually just completely decimated Polyphy again. Kind of what we saw in the beginning of the game. Locks him up, 100 blades, nothing they can do without that stun break right there. Very, very strong. Brujo, probably, man, making some warriors really happy right now, as he has been doing work just all game.
And as he jumps into this now, we had another member of Plastic Fantastic go down, unfortunately for him. But here comes Bruno once more with his burst chain, trying to get down to Dira. Was suffering from bleeds, or from blinds rather, there a little bit. And conditions are actually ticking pretty heavily on him right now. But he is passively regenerating a lot of that 421 health per second, actually, due to that Signet is coming back to him. And he did manage to survive that condition onslaught. So for the time being, Bruno is still alive. And the fight is still broiling over here at the Henge. We actually don't have anything else going on beyond the map. We do have bosses currently up on the blue team side. So they will be able to take that down if they want, but unfortunately now Bruno has finally fallen, and Polyphy will be coming in just a moment to stop him out.
Plastic Cypress is actually able to get the fear mark down, fear away Polyphy, but Guts is coming in, doing a ton of damage. He actually vengeance up so he can get the stomp on Polyphy, but Shadow Refuge coming down, they were able to get the full res on him. Brujo should be going down shortly here.
And as we see that now, Plastic Cypress is going to be under pressure from Guts as we're now looking at his point of view, absolutely taking him down there. NN has three members actually around to get the stomp, so more than likely that will be a secured stomp. With that, Red Team now seems to be on the losing end of this henge fight. They may want to think about changing up the strategy, although it does appear that they still want to actually cancel that because he is flipping his path around now. They are going to change up the strategy, possibly had to keep in a second here, but nonetheless, it does seem like Red Team are slowly running out of resources over here at henge, and they may lose that in just a moment.
Yeah, this elongated fight is really hurting them, especially without their whole team. But their team is back up and coming back. Brujo, Plastic Cypress, they're almost back to the fight. So their cooldowns are going to be up. Maybe going to be able to get the surprise on Nonstop Nonsense if they're not paying attention. Looks like Adira was kind of ready for them. Polyfi up there as well. So really elongated fight. Both Spirit Rangers kind of... We have Red Team Spirit Ranger roaming from beach to mine. Maybe he'll come to the fight. Blue Team's Ranger not taking a second off of leaving keep.
Indeed.
Red Team is actually going to have that 5v4 here. The Ranger is coming, gonna try and help him get the point. Mesmer actually beyond does go down though, so, and Plastic going down here as well. Might be able to get the Spirit res up.
And NN has actually taken notice to this now as they did send the Ranger to mine because PF has chosen to go full 5 onto this point. They are going to risk losing their close point. But for the time being, PF actually still has the lead because they managed to hold off the 2-cap for so long. They're now in the lead, but that might change pretty quickly here, depending on, first of all, how this henge fight goes, and B, how long they manage to hold on to mine. But I think, again, we could see a flip now as the Mesmer from the Red Team is planning to sneak his way on to keep in just a moment here.
Yeah, and I don't know if you were able to catch that, but that was a fantastic play from Muses right there. Barely able to get into the fight. Cypress was down. Exorcist was down. He had the Spirit behind the wall. He was able to pop the revive. Both of them were in mid-stomp animation. He's able to revive the rest of his team besides Beyond, who was already stomped, and really help push that fight back. Yeah, just really good play by Jesus right there.
And now as we look at the henge point, it does seem like once again, and it actually has again, Red Team has flipped it around and taken that point. Back over here at the keep, while he did actually, the Mesmer actually did go off that again. He's just gonna take the trade. He's popped the portal and went back over here to the mine. He's gonna let him have back mid, but as well, he's gonna get his close point back. So nothing gained, nothing lost for here for Beyond the Clouds on PF.
And this fight has been absolutely insane. It just has no signs of stopping. PF actually is able to get the capture right there, and Blue Team not on point to try and contest. So fight is actually coming down to a stop over there at henge. Neutral boss is up. We do have Chieftain up over there. They're chasing Adira. They want to get Blue Team out of their base. They want him to leave so they can have it in peace. And they're just going to continue chasing. Henge is finally theirs. Looks like they're going to go over to mine probably and help Beyond trying to hold it over there.
And as we jump over here now, Guts, as we see him playing, as we have been looking at him for the past few seconds, being extremely cautious fighting over here at the mine. Actually took a pretty hefty amount of condition damage, managed to dodge an actually pretty heavy amount of burst at the same time, but nonetheless, did suffer from that. And is now on this, now trying to take down Beyond the Clouds. Has popped his Bazzy Venom in order to knock him out here. He's going to be taking damage here pretty quickly, but he has managed to negate a lot of it. Here comes Guts again, though, with the burst. Is going to pop his invulnerability there, but he will now go down. The question is, will Blue Team be able to get it off? We do have Brujo once again into this fight, trying to keep him alive, unfortunately for him, and is now, he's going to see the stealth expire. It does look like Eppley will be coming in to knock out the stomp and flipping this fight in favor for the Blue Team at the mine point.
And Guts trolling Brujo with the Shorebow 3, able to get the evades out. He was actually able to dodge 2 shield bashes in just that short amount of time there. With that Shorebow 3, jumping back, shooting arrows at him. Brujo just missing everything by Guts kind of trolling him right there. Fantastic job by Guts, and Brujo just wants him. He is chasing Guts down.
It doesn't necessarily seem like the best target for him, unfortunately. Maybe switching it up might do a little bit better for him, as really he just can't keep up with Guts because he moves around so quickly there, as thieves usually do. Yeah,
but he's got his sights set on Adira, someone that's definitely got a little less mobility, not so much evade. A little too late. Conrad Quest was on him the whole time. He actually got Illusion to life right there. Fantastic job. Hopefully he's able to get a kill or move to a more safe location so he can get revived.
And while that happened, we did have Plastic Fantastic take down their boss at the close point, as some of you are at the far point, actually, as many of you may saw over there on the minimap. They're going to take that down, and with that, Plastic Fantastic, currently holding a 2 cap on the side points, is only about 30 points away from victory now at this point. However, they are currently looking to lose this fight over here at the Henge. We do still have Plastic Exorcist up as well. We had Bruno once again pop that Vengeance. Probably the Warrior has popped the most Vengeance out of any competitive war I've ever seen. I don't usually see Warriors pop it, in all honesty, but he just seems to want to pop it almost every single time.
He wants to keep fighting. He was trying to help Exorcist right there. You know, the illusion of life was not enough. He had to come back a second time in one fight. They're able to take that game 501 to 311. Fantastic game by Plastic Fantastic.
And indeed, Plastic Fantastic will be taking the first round here. We're going to add a point to the scoreboard here, and we'll soon be moving on into round 2 on Legacy of the Foe Fire.
And what we saw there was pretty much Plastic Fantastic just completely deciding to ditch that midpoint right there. They decided to focus on sides. They had their Ranger kind of roaming around trying to backcap, and focus on smaller team fights on the side points, where Nonstop Nonsense almost always kept their Ranger on their home point. He didn't roam so much around to fights, but tried the backcap. And overall, I think that's what kind of hurt Nonstop Nonsense and led to Plastic Fantastic winning those fights.
Indeed, and now we're going to see coming on here into the Legacy of the Foe Fire. Sean, what do you think we can see differently happen here?
Well, Plastic Fantastic, their strategy, if they go to try and hold the side points, it's definitely not going to be so easy with such a massive map. Nonstop Nonsense, if they do the same thing they did last time, that's actually going to be more beneficial. Having someone stay at home point in a map like this, where it's not so much short route from both of the side points. You know, you have that long route with mid right in between. If they're able to hold mid this game, it's going to help them a lot more than on Forest, and they're going to have a shorter roam between home or far and then mid. So it's definitely going to be interesting. We're going to have to see them switch up their strategies a little bit as far as Plastic Fantastic, if they're going to try and counter. We'll see, I guess, what both teams do as the game is starting right here.
And indeed, as we have now jumped into the in-game camps, here we go, Game 2, Plastic Fantastic versus Nonstop Nonsense, opening up the map. Let's check out our splits. It looks like we're going to be having the Engineer from the blue team, which will be Nonstop Nonsense, heading over there. The Wonderful Warrior from the red team, Plastic Fantastic, will be heading into Wonderful. In the meantime, Rangers from both teams are going to be heading to Chorus. We're going to have a bit of a Ranger-on-Ranger skirmish there, and the rest seem to be grouping up for an impending 3v3 going on in a minute. Let's check out that Engineer versus Warrior fighting, because we did have that go on last game as well, so I'm curious to see if it goes the same way once more, or if Polyphy is able to hold off.
He was actually able to get the smoke bomb, I believe, off right there. So Brujo was able to get the stun, was able to get the 100 blades, but was blinded for a majority of it. So completely negated most of that burst right there. It's definitely going to give him the overall advantage here in the beginning until Brujo's cooldowns come back up. And he won't be able to capture him exactly off guard.
Indeed, as we look into this now, Polyphy actually taking a lot of damage here now as he rolls into this, trying to keep him alive. Polyphy just managing to survive, though, so we'll check back on this fight in just a second. Over here at the choir, we do still have those two Spirit Rangers duking it out. Conrad Quest and Dipset Yeezus are currently fighting there at the moment. And as well, over here at the Graveyard, we still have a pretty full-on team fight arising, and I don't think actually anyone hasn't gone down yet, although Plastic Cypress is now down. We could see this not know the illusion of light will come off, which has brought us down. Currently still no kills on either side.
Definitely interesting to see both Rangers running all their spirits out. They were both running the Hound. They look like complete mirrors. They both had the short bow, or sorry, they both had their sword daggers out as well, and dodging around, healing strings everywhere. Just two complete mirror fights going on at Corey.
And over here at the Waterfall as well, we did actually have a first kill go off in middle as Plastic Cypress was knocked out. Polyphy and Brujo are actually still duking it out, although Guts is going to come in here and change that real quick as he jumps on Brujo with a Basilisk Venom. Brujo is going to try his best to stay alive. Unfortunately, he will go down, and that point will go to the blue team here momentarily. Back at the Graveyard, the fight is still rolling pretty heavily. No clear winner as of yet, although as we can see on the point itself, Plastic Fantastic does have a bit of capture progress here now, but the fight nonetheless is still rolling. Guts now, who has come back into the middle fight, is going to be jumping directly on Beyond the Clouds of Mesmer and doing a pretty nice job of taking him down. Amply will be coming in, although he does have this, he does have his Deception that he can use to survive. Plastic Exorcist will now be trying to come in to get the res off, as you can currently see, but and it's going to be close. They actually just get it off there now, bringing him back into this fight.
Guts just left a little too early, didn't stay around to try and help get that stomp, as he was going to go push towards Quarry and try and help out Conrad. That led to getting the full revive up on Beyond the Clouds. It's not going to do too much, it's not going to lose them that fight, but it's definitely going to delay their progress on capturing it.
Meanwhile, speaking of capture points, over here at the Waterfall, we do have Brujo once again seeking that far point cap, and actually has gotten the decap off. Polyphy will be coming in to try and stop that, although Bruno is going to make some pretty nice progress on the actual capture point itself before he does get on here. And we're going to see him backing up below the threshold so it doesn't take that range damage there from the bit of it, but they are going to be 1v1ing once more, and as well as we jump into the graveyard, still no progress as of yet, and Red Team has actually taken their close point back now. Which is going to obviously start putting them ahead. But for the time being, Blue Team is currently up 36 points with no capture points. Red Team is currently losing 22 points with 1 capture point.
And man, no one just wants to let a capture point go. Brujo was able to come back and get the decap on Waterfall. Guts was able to get the decap on Quarry. This is just a game of non-stop fighting and no point captures.
Everyone just wants that middle point right now, and they don't want to let anyone control the side points, as it seems to be right here as you go into this. But in the middle fight, the deadly Adira is down at the moment. I believe she is under the influence of the Shadow Refuge, and they actually are going to get her back up. But meanwhile, as we just had some news come out of here from the Waterfall, Brujo actually managed to win that 1v1 over there once more, and is going to be taking that now for his team, which will once again start putting them ahead. Graveyard fight, like we've been saying this whole time, is still going. It has not shown any signs of stopping either, really.
Yeah, and they probably would have had it right there too if Guts hadn't have left. So he's probably regretting that a little bit. That could have been a lot of points in their favor right now. Adir is going down. Almost everyone just so close to dead on Red Team. Blue Team about halfway there. Doing a really good job of trying to use us and Beyond the Clouds, staying below 25% health for so long. Beyond the Clouds dying, Yeezus dying, and Blue Team's going to try and get all these stomps off right here in mid and take that point capture.
Did the deception go off there from Beyond the Clouds, so it will delay the stomp for a little bit. Unfortunately for the Red Team, the full stomp will go off, and Plastic Exorcist will be the last person on here. Although again, Cypress is ink. So this seems the fight's going to go on for a little bit longer, just to check out what we have going on the other points. So Polyphy is once again going up against Brujo. Brujo actually looking like he once again is probably going to win this 1v1 over here very nicely. Indeed is going to take that, and we're 5 minutes in. But there's no team has even hit 100 points yet.
I can definitely see this as a game that comes down to the timer.
I can see that as well, as we've seen full decaps go off. Brujo's been over for Farpoint the whole game. It looks like Red Team may finally come in here to try and take the quarry back now, as they do have that. No one from Blue Team really responding to that, as we can see from the minimap, so they are just going to let them have that. The Graveyard is still rolling. It does seem like that, and we're not going to call it because we've been wrong before. It does seem like Red Team has an advantage. The numbers are even, but we do have guys down, and now actually Blue Team will take an advantage as they get the Guardian down on that point, which is obviously going to turn the fight around because they don't have that bunker and team support available on that point anymore for the next at least 30 to 40 seconds while he makes his way back there.
And while that was going down, you actually had Conrad Quest run to Quarry, or sorry, Dipset run to Quarry. He was able to get the capture. So not only do they have both side points right now, Brujo is actually knocking down the door to Blue Team's base.
And as we check that out, that could come in later, obviously, as it'll come into play with the Lord Rush if Red Team so chooses to do that. But we finally actually have a team above the 100-point threshold. We currently have Plastic Fantastic 130 points to 56 points. An extremely close game, considering that we are now 6 minutes in, and those are the only scores. Those are the only scores that have been marked now. And this mid fight, this point has yet to be capped the entire time because both these teams are just throwing resources into this to try and stop either team from getting on it. We've seen ups and downs on this middle fight from both teams, but neither has been able to fully wipe either team yet and completely win the point.
Yeah, and one thing to note is, man, Cypress got down. Brujo actually didn't want it to be a 3v4, so he instantly rushes over there to try and make it 4v4. Red Team really struggling to stay in this fight in mid. Most of Blue Team's points so far have actually been just through the kills that they've been getting in mid. They've been able to wipe their team over and over, but Stragglers have been able to kind of stay up, keep the point neutralized, while their other teammates come back, spawn 15 seconds later, and rush all the way back to try and help them.
And we still have, again, this 1v1 going on over here at Waterfall between Brujo and Polyphy that are currently going up against each other. Polyphy looks like he's actually going to back off this time to get some regeneration going back. Conrad Quest as well is going to make his way over here, but at the same time, Dipset is coming here as well to turn this into a 2v2. Actually, possibly 2v1, and actually, no, 2v2, because here comes Polyphy running back around the hill now. We'll be coming into this, and we will now have a 2v2 on the side point. And we actually missed it, but blue team Eppley now finally capped the middle point. Red team took control of those 2 side points, and they said it's not even worth it to keep playing there anymore. We're just going to let them have it, and red team is going to start pushing themselves toward a bigger lead now that they finally control 2 points.
Yeah, Adira and Guts actually pushing in the Quarry right now. Plastic Fantastic trying to stay and keep it captured. They were able to get it neutralized. Adira just chain fearing Cypress around while Guts leaps around, stabbing her in the back. But we do have Beyond the Clouds coming in to support. They're actually able to knock down Adira as well.
And now that we actually have Eppley, Adira, and Guts, 3 of them here, there's actually pretty much been left the, no, it seems they're not going to take advantage of that. It seems they are going to be pushing onto the Quarry to hold on to that again. Plastic Fantastic really doesn't want to fight mid, as you can see here. It looks like they're going to, even on this map, they're going to prioritize on the side points. They did, in all honesty, they might have had an opportunity to take Graveyard there, considering only the Ranger was at mid, but it seems they've chosen to go for Quarry once more and hold that in contention.
They like doing the big team fights, Blue. If they could fight 5v5 this whole game, they probably would. Maybe with the 1v1s going on between Brujo and Polyphy. But they definitely like the fights. Pushing onto Quarry right here. Polyphy staying behind Graveyard. Brujo pushing his way onto Polyphy. I think he has like this vengeance for him.
He was actually just like on the hunt for Guts and actually forced Guts to use his Basilisk Venom in a defensive position to get him away from him, really.
Brujo just seems to charge towards Polyphy this whole game. No matter what point, we've seen it both at Waterfall Quarry and now Graveyard. He just wants to fight over and over. Blue team always having to send people to try and peel him off of Polyphy.
And just to check out the scores here real quick, guys, it's currently 251 points in favor of Plastic Fantastic. If they take this one, they're going to take the set as well. Nonstop Nonsense is currently down at 173 points. Both teams currently with 1 capture point to their name. Quarry is currently contested as we check out that fight. Currently, it's actually a 2v2. Currently in favor of neither team as no one is down at the moment.
Yeah, and we do have Red Team also. They were able to push down that door, so that is always going to be an option as well. If they decide they want to push towards Lord, they're not going to have to wait on any sort of door DPS. They can kind of just run in and take it. That'll be an option in about 80 points here for Red Team.
The issue, too, is that, again, look at the time. We're almost 2/3 of the way through the time, and one team is barely over half the points they need. So this, again, might come down to the timer here, as these fights are really just being so long and drawn out, because both teams, obviously, as you've seen, are very good at defending their members and keeping them alive.
Yeah, absolutely. And, man, Eppley doing a fantastic job of keeping her team, condition clear, healed. Pretty much every time you look at the fight, you'll see blue team with almost full health, and red team just trying to stay alive with their small amount of health. Plastic usually getting out of the fight, or sorry, not Plastic, but Exorcist, sorry. Usually getting out of the fight really early. They like to focus them down. They want to get those heals. They want to get that condition clear out of the fight as early as possible to maximize the damage and try and wipe their team.
And what we just had go down there, Plastic Exorcist actually just went down, but luckily for him, his Mesmer just had returned to that point and managed to throw out the Illusion of Life again, extending the duration of this fight, not necessarily so that Plastic can win it, but at the very least, delaying the cap. Unfortunately for Plastic, the cap has finally gone off, and blue team is going to take that. We've got 4 minutes remaining in this game. Plastic Fantastic currently at 312 points. Blue team still 100 points away from Lord Rush range, but with 2 capture points to their name at this point.
Blue team looks like they're actually going to push toward Lord. They know that it's not going to win on the game, but the 150 points with only 3 minutes and 40 seconds left is going to push them over red team, and it's actually going to be very close depending on time who is going to win this game.
There actually looks like they're going to keep Polyphy on the point, which is a pretty smart choice. Might be headed setting a mid actually because that is under some pressure. As we jump into the overlays here, let me jump actually onto the Necromancer's point of view. This is going to be a risky play because it's 3v2, so they are going to be under some pressure, both from Plastic Cypress once he gets his health back there. In addition to Plastic Extra Sue is going to be able to cause some havoc, as you just saw there, with the line of warning and his other CC abilities that he might be able to throw in order to save his Lord. But let's go to the overview point of view to watch this team fight, as well, so I can get eyes on the Lord. There he is. And now we'll jump back into a player point of view over here at Beyond the Clouds, as he's currently in here trying to defend his Lord's life. Not taking that much damage as yet, so far the defense is going well, but they haven't really decided to focus him yet. Deadly Adira is now down, so they could stomp him out here if they want to get him down. We also had a Shadow Refuge go down from Epley, so they could try to get him up there as well. Guts now down as well. I think, no, he's actually here in the fight too. 2 members of NN down. Sean, I don't really think this is working out too well.
Man, they had that strong...
And actually, just on the other side of the map, too, the Lord over there is engaged, too. The Blue Lord. We almost missed that again. As we jump in on that, Brujo is there, obviously, with a lot more direct damage, and apologies for cutting you off there. But the Lord is engaged here as well. Both sides kind of going extremely slow. We're going to try and jump back and forth.
Blue Lord is just going down actually pretty fast right now. Brujo doing a ton of damage. He's just throwing out the conditions on it. He is actually about to go down, and Red Team wins the game.
And he takes it down. Obviously, counter Lord play that went off there. Blue team unfortunately rushed that, and because of that, it left their Lord open. And with that, Plastic Fantastic was able to take advantage due to that, and managed to come back into that and win that round. And with that, Plastic Fantastic is going to take both of these rounds. They will move on into the next round of the winners bracket finals. Nonstop Nonsense, while they are not out of this tournament, have now been dropped down to the losers bracket.
Man, that was a really intense play. Nonstop Nonsense actually had that really strong 2-cap right there. They really tried to overextend their grass. Unfortunately, that threw them the game as they weren't able to peel back and push back towards their Lord whom they needed to defend. Because if they were able to stop that defense and just hold those 2 points, they actually would have had that victory based on time alone.
Alrighty, well that's going to be into that. So what do you think? I mean, obviously 2 extremely good teams that we just saw go against each other, Nonstop Nonsense and Plastic Fantastic. What do you think we're going to see from them in the future?
I see both of those teams ending up near the finals. Plastic Fantastic team, and Nonstop Nonsense, you know, they've been a favorite for a while, I think. A lot of people were expecting them to do really well coming into this tournament. And that matchup, man, that was really close both times. So, fantastic, you know, GG Plastic Fantastic, and hopefully Nonstop Nonsense can battle through the losers bracket and make their way back.
All right. So, guys, once again, we're going to be moving on now to Team Curse's match. Team Curse is going up against, give me 1 second for the enemy team name, because it is a little bit hard to pronounce as I jump into that. Team Curse will be going up against Los Corleon in just a few minutes, guys, but we are going to take a quick 2 to 5 minute break so we can get that match set up for you and make sure it's all correct and ready. So stick around. We'll return shortly.